Hi everyone, and welcome once again to TDL Live. It is April 7th.
It is.
2008. I'm Ryan Ritchie, Adam Ford with me, and let's get into the news, shall we? But before we do, I want to remind everyone that they can participate as well.
Yes.
Join us in iChat or AOL Instant Messenger. The name is TDL Live, or send an email, feedback at thedigital-lifestyle.tv.
That's it.
Now then, let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Plenty of news to tell you about, and also a special feature we have coming up after tonight's show.
Cool.
So with that, who's number one?
I'm number one.
But who is number one who isn't you?
You.
Apple, that's right. Now, there's a little bit of a dispute about this, but Apple is claiming now to be the number one U.S. music retailer.
I hadn't heard that there was a dispute.
I'll tell you about it in a moment. To tell everyone first the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, the good news, which further legitimizes online music content. Apple has surpassed Walmart as the biggest music retailer in the United States. The report counts every 12 downloads as an album. Okay. And surpassed Walmart.
So the only asterisk to this is that according to the folks who saw the report, this was actually for the week of January 6th, which means that a lot of people may have been cashing in all those gift cards from the holidays. So this isn't as of March or April. This goes back to January. Right. But at least for one shining moment in time, and they may still very well be number one, this at least, whether you discount it or not, this is the first time they've passed them to be number one.
Sales are sales. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me if it's people redeeming gift cards or not. People bought the gift cards, so it's money in the bank.
Okay.
That's where I stand on it.
Hey, 2 weeks ago we were talking about Kevin Rose and his ability to see into the future of the 3G iPhone.
Yes.
And boy, I really restrained myself that night.
You did.
But there's a new Swami, on the 3G scene.
Right.
It's none other than Walt Mossberg. Walt Mossberg claiming that the 3G iPhone will be coming within the next 60 days.
Pretty prolific.
Pretty prolific, especially if you look at your calendar and realize, oh, what's in June?
It's a conference.
Some sort of conference with Apple.
It's a conference.
Worldwide Developers Conference. You know what? I'm gonna outdo you, Walt. I think that Steve Jobs will give a keynote at that conference.
I think he will.
How about that?
I think I'm on board with you on that.
How about that?
Yeah.
And he might even announce that phone there.
I think, yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening, yeah.
So, sort of stating the obvious, I'm not entirely sure why this got so much press. It was such a big deal that he said it.
Oh my God, it's happening in 60 days.
I mean, people have kind of assumed June all along.
Yes. Yep.
Beyond 3G, though, is there anything that you think, is a real killer feature that needs to be on this new phone? Do you think we'll see a different form factor? Do you think it's just the same phone, faster network?
In the blog, I have an article there about voice over IP, and I'm still going to stick to my guns and say that we're going to get voice over IP technology built in, coming from Apple, and supported by AT&T.
I agree, and as I said in my comment to your blog,
that's right,
that it's to AT&T's advantage to move that traffic off of their network if you're still paying them every month.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why would they have a problem with that?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
So moving along with the 3G iPhone, now in addition to keeping an eye on all the business news, you are our Asian manufacturer. You've got your finger on the pulse of Asian manufacturing.
There we go.
I understand there's some news to report, or at least a report to report.
There's a report. There is a report to report
regarding this 3G iPhone.
Right. Don't adjust your computer screens. I am not, in fact, an Asian manufacturer, but Hanai China.
It's just the lights.
Hanai Precision Industries. They are a contract manufacturer for Apple. They make several of their products, and reports are out that they have not only been commissioned to build 10 million, figures are between 8 and 10 million 3G iPhones, but the reports go so far as to say that they're already built and they're ready to ship, and all that Apple has to do is give the nod, which I find very, very hard to believe. I don't know that there's a whole lot of manufacturers out there saying, oh, let's build all your stuff and leave it here for 60 days while it takes up space and costs us money.
Well, especially if they want to do business with Apple. They don't really care for people coming out and saying that. Is this by any chance, I see this is from MarketWatch.
Yes.
I wonder if the story originated, though, with DigiTimes. They tend to always have these stories of loose lips with the manufacturers, and they never pan out.
I'm going to have to go back and take a look. But it's kind of weird because Apple does everything just in time.
Right.
They never leave products sitting around in case it falls into the wrong hands. They don't want anybody getting a sneak peek at it.
And just the inventory issues.
Yeah, blowing the cover, and then inventory issues and getting it from there to the hub and then eventually to your hands. There's a distribution factor in there as well. I don't believe these things are sitting around. I think that Apple will give them the nod to make them based on a certain production schedule, and they will then be delivered. So they should be turning those factories on pretty soon to meet our June.
Now, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but again, being our Asian manufacturing liaison, as it were.
Right.
Am I correct in saying this is the same company that we had the whole controversy about the sweat camps a while back with the iPods?
Yes.
And Apple wagged their finger and said, "No, don't you do that again. If that happens, bad."
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So Apple's been using Honai for some time, and they there was that report out there.
Right, schmites. Let's move on. Exciting new site / software / application for Mac users was released this week. It's called Net for Mac. You can find out more at netformac.com. Essentially, this is a social networking site, but site in air quotes because there's actually software you use, and which is kind of nice in so much as it's a walled garden of sorts that you know that those are other Mac people because it's a Mac-only piece of software.
Right.
They have to install it in order to get in there. It has a lot of the features that you would expect from a social networking site. It's laid out a little differently than you might be expecting, so there's a little bit of an adjustment period to it. Looks pretty promising, and if you want to check it out, again, it's netformac.com. And while you're in there, you'll notice there's a whole bunch of different groups. I hear most of them are pretty bad, but there's one, interestingly enough, called the digitallifestyle.tv viewer group, which is where all the cool kids are going.
Yeah.
I'm told.
I'm going there.
All right.
I'm going.
So I like the idea of it being an application in so much as you're verifying that these are Mac people. I think they're going to have to add some sort of web update component so that once you sign up your account and you use the little software, if you're away from your computer or you're on someone else's computer, you can just do a little update the same way you might update your status on, say, Facebook.
Yep.
So, but worth checking out, netformac.com. Again, viewer group, thedigital-lifestyle.tv. Now, speaking of social networking.
Yes.
There are a lot of social networking sites.
There are a lot of them.
And I know you, from the wings, are a social butterfly.
I'm flapping.
So I understand you have some news on trying to manage all this stuff, or you're just dealing with it?
I think that everybody's trying to deal with it. I think I get a new invitation to some new social networking site, once, twice a week, and if you sign up for all of them, and everybody wants to be where their friends are, and take a look at the different interfaces and what do you like about something, what do you not like about something, but it becomes kind of cumbersome to keep everything updated with all of your information, and I think it's a problem. I don't know that anybody has solved it yet, but it's interesting to see that software companies are starting to put out applications, whether it be free or whatever, to help you manage this. A viewer tipped me off to Mood Blast, which is a free download, and what that allows you to do is update your mood or your status on different sites, from Facebook to your iChat account, to I think Twitter was on there. But you can basically update it from there, hit blast, and it updates your status on all the different sites, which is nice. My only issue with it is there doesn't seem to be an obvious way to unblast your message. So I'm watching the digitallifestyle.tv right now, but when I go and get a snack and I want to say I'm going to get a snack, I can do that. But then let's say I just want to be available after that.
Right.
I don't know how you just turn it off. So it's a work in progress, but it's good to see that this stuff's out there.
And you're not implying you would stop watching?
No, of course not. I would go to get a snack.
And come back?
Of course.
During a break or something?
And then I would be available to chat.
Okay. Which we are right now.
Yeah.
TDL Live via iChat or AOL Instant Messenger. Tell us what you think about social networking sites. Is it becoming a pain to try to manage everything? I'm about ready to weed the garden.
You think so?
Yep. I'm about ready to cut back, and I might go cold turkey. Might just end it.
I don't think you can do that though.
Everyone says that, and then they come back.
Like, oh, I'm gonna get rid of my account, and then you're like delete, and you're like, oh, now I got to go through the whole setup process again. This is a pain in the neck.
And get back with everyone.
Exactly, it's crazy. But there's another piece that I took a look at. The browser, the new browser, Flock. It's a free download. It's a web browser, but it's like a social networking web browser. And it's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't think it's quite there yet, but it does allow you to have your Facebook friends on the side, and it interfaces with all kinds of different stuff.
And I've played with it a little bit too, and it seems like it has the potential to kind of do what you're saying Mood Blast does. I mean, you're able to see all that information in one place, so then if you could just update it from that one place.
I think it's a step, yeah. Right. I mean, it clearly integrates with everything. Now it's just, if there was some like way to manage everything from a pane in there,
sure,
and update all your photos all at once and everything else all at once, I think big install base.
Well, it's on the big to-do list in the office. We have review of Flock in there.
Oh, cool.
But we did do a quick review of a new browser from AT&T this week called Pogo. Pogo. The nickname around here is No Go.
No Go?
No Go.
No Go on
Basically, this is a web browser that allows you to get this tabbed windows.
I've heard of that.
Stick with me here.
I've heard of that.
And for those of you who like to get search results but don't really want to be burdened with the most accurate results, there's a search box where you set up through, let's say you're looking for something with sports, okay? You can set up a page that has ESPN and Sports Illustrated and whatever, maybe your local paper, and then it'll only search those sites.
Well, I hate getting the best results.
I know.
It's just...
This is the browser for you. You can read the full review. It's in the blog. Just head to thedigital.tv and click on blog. But it's kind of ridiculous. It seems like something that would have been packaged with AT&T WorldNet in about 1997. The only thing they do that is innovative if you've never seen Firefox or Safari is they have essentially Apple's cover flow for web pages. That the pages you have
cool.
like your bookmarks, you can see it. But obviously, if people find that that's cool, Apple can add that to Safari, or it can be a Firefox plugin. So it's a limited beta right now by invite only. Save yourself the trouble. If you want to give a browser a shot, I would say to try Flock. I think it's worth.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially if you do any social networking or even using Flickr or some of the photo services to check that out.
Yep, definitely. I agree.
You know, folks, we have a contest this evening.
We do.
I want to bring this up early and often. We're giving away an iTunes gift card. What's the value on that iTunes gift card?
$15. 25.
No, it's 15.
Shaking your head.
I don't know. I just wanted you to think the amount you said was so much higher than it could I don't even think they make them smaller than that, do they? It's a $15 iTunes gift card. That's US dollars, and this contest is open only to US residents 18 or older. If you've won anything the last 30 days, you are not eligible. Now, here's what you got to do for the contest. We've been talking about new things for the iPhone and everything, but when you think about the iTunes store, no longer music store, because we've got music, movies, TV, games, what else could they possibly add?
Fruit.
one-click buy for fruit.
Yep.
But our very own Jamie DeGrazio from Root Access has thrown out there on the blog this concept that maybe comic books, maybe digital versions of comic books.
Interesting.
Either for viewing on the iPhone or for on your computer.
All flicking through.
So for our contest, if you want to be eligible, here's what you got to do. Go to the blog, look for Jamie's story about comic books on iTunes, and leave a comment. And then we'll take all the comments prior to next week's show. So you have this whole week, but do it now, you'll forget.
Yeah. No way.
We'll take all the comments, we'll randomly pick someone from those comments to win the gift card. So thedigital.lifestyle.tv, click on blog, look at the iTunes comic book store entry, and leave a comment. It's that easy. We'll tell you how to do it again later.
Pretty simple.
Cool. What else we got going on here?
Notebook changes.
So they say, Apple Insider reporting this evening that there are more than, there are cosmetic changes coming to the MacBook and MacBook Pro.
I'm surprised to hear that because they're not that old.
Well, this kind of ties into our lawsuit of the week because part of this gets to the idea that some of the changes involve making the product more green. So maybe a different kind of plastic on the MacBook that's maybe more recyclable, or going to more efficient displays and that kind of thing. So, which brings us, as I mentioned, to the lawsuit of the week. Every week here on TDL Live, we bring you the latest lawsuit in which Apple is at least tangentially involved.
That's right.
And this week, as is the case often, they are right in the center of this one.
Center of it.
What do you got?
So this time Apple's doing the suing, which they do their fair share of, I would say.
Easy. Don't give them another reason to.
Well, right. Fair enough. So, Green NYC, which is it's a city initiative, a city campaign to make New York City more green, to reduce carbon emissions and things like that. It's a place where people can go to figure out what they can do to be more green and friendly to the environment. And they have this really cool logo that is like a squiggly apple that has a stem and a little leaf, and it's green. Kind of looks like almost like an infinity sign with a little stem and leaf on it. And Apple says, no. You can't use any kind of Apple-related logo because that's our logo. And people will be confused by this, and that will be bad. And people will be harmed. So we're going to say, stop using that logo. That looks nothing like ours and could not possibly be confused for the Apple logo. Bad news.
Okay, two things. First of all, even though we're billing this as the lawsuit of the week, technically this is just a comment period for the trademark that has been filed by the city. So Apple's just kind of, part of it, you could say this is just them protecting their trademark, their existing Apple trademark.
Right.
But I think there's more at work here. I think this relates back to the story we just had. I think that the design changes with the MacBook and the MacBook Pro, you're going to see Apple push a green Apple promotion or initiative, and you're going to see green Apple in relation to Apple products more going forward. And I think that is why they were so aggressive on this.
I'm with you to an extent. There's no way, if you look at this logo, there is absolutely no way it could be mistaken for the Apple logo. And it's very geo-specific. We're talking, this is like New York City only that will know about this. It's not like this is like a nationwide initiative or anything like that. I just don't see how there could possibly be confusion about whose brand this is. And I don't know, it's weird. So now what Apple has to do is send out like questionnaires to people and see whether or not are you in fact confused and not knowing what you're doing, and are you thinking that these people are masquerading as Apple?
But let us not forget that Apple is no stranger to Apple-related lawsuits, because there was the whole thing with the Beatles record label, the Apple label, and that was some time ago, obviously, but I've seen those two. See, that wasn't so much the logo as much as they had an agreement in place that Apple wasn't going to go into music production, and so then when the computers started doing music and all that stuff, you know, people could be confused. But all this talk about the good old days of Apple issues. After tonight's show, we have an interview with Rob Baca and what's his name? Help me out here. Come on, you got it. You got it.
Do I?
Yes. Josh.
Josh
Rizzo. Rob and Josh, they've made a new documentary called Welcome to Macintosh, and it takes a really good look at those early days, right up to today.
Cool.
And it's interesting to see where everybody ended up. It's like, you know, where is Andy Hertzfeld now? And Guy Kawasaki, when he's not talking to us, what's he doing? Am I dropping names there? Did I just do that?
You were, a little bit.
So anyhow, so we're going to have that interview coming up after tonight's show. But I wanted to take a few minutes here to show you the trailer for the movie. It just premiered this weekend at the Wisconsin Film Festival. Standing room only.
Cool.
Rave reviews. People really love it. It connects with people who know the whole Macintosh story, and then also with new folks as well. So let's take a look at that, and then we'll be back. We'll try to dig up more news.
Okay.
It's not ever been a money issue on collecting or disposing of the apples. Probably a sickness that I have.
The people on the outside think that it's like this wonderful world of Oz or Disney going on, and all of us are just all these brilliant, amazing, happy people, and like it's not. It's like a sausage factory, man. You really don't want to know how this stuff happens.
That's what makes these products so beautiful. That level of commitment and dedication to the thing to make it the best thing possible.
The Macintosh spirit was not something we created with the Macintosh, although we sort of contributed to it, but it was there before the Macintosh because it's really the spirit of the Apple II.
You know, there are more iPods in my house than there are people, by probably 2 to 1. But I never use an iPod. I can't tell you the last time I used an iPod.
I don't see Apple being able to continue at the pace that it's going right now. I don't expect it to suddenly fumble and fall, but it's not going to be what it is now.
Looks like a very cool film, and again, we're going to have an interview with Rob and Josh coming up.
Yeah, look forward to checking that out.
Absolutely, and you can learn more. It's at welcometomacintosh.com. Wait for the interview, and then you can go check it out. So selfish. I don't know. Wanted to talk about one other thing on the blog. There was an opinion piece from The Independent in the UK today. This rumor has come up before, or this complaint, and it's this whole idea that the iPod is designed to fail. And some people think that 18 to 24 months out, there's been some sort of voodoo, and the thing just goes kaput. And some people, and in this particular article, they go so far as to think that it's from the software update. That there's an iPod update, and its sole purpose of being is to ruin iPods. Now that's a very big claim.
It's very Mission Impossible.
That's a very big claim to just throw out there without any support.
Your iPod will self-destruct.
You know, do you think this is going on? Come on.
No, it's not going on. I have 3 iPods that have not worked a day in their existence, and that's going back to the 3rd generation iPod, and it's original. It hasn't gone in for anything. Its battery works fine. I mean, it's a rechargeable battery. Sure, it's not going to last as long as the first day that you got it, but it works fine. It plays music. It does exactly what it was intended to do. Shenanigans.
So we did post a response to this on the blog because I know from my experience too, I have a 3rd generation iPod, and my parents have the very first one, the click wheel, and it's working fine. You know, some folks in the chat room are mentioning that, in the iChat rather, that's a
Mini for 4 years.
Yeah, had a Mini for 4 years and still
How's
works
the color
fine.
holding up on it?
Oh, come on now. That's a whole nother discussion. The fading color iPod minis. We'll put that in the blog. Those were good times.
Yeah, those were good times.
Looking people right in the eye when it's not pink, it's purple, and saying, that's pink.
It's pink. It's a
Be on your way.
shade.
Be on your way.
It's a shade.
But anyhow.
It's unique. No one has that color other than you.
It is unique. But the other thing about working in the store is it seemed to me that the same people kept having to get the iPod replaced. You know, it would be they would keep saying, oh, this is my 3rd iPod, this is my 4th iPod. It was either you didn't have a problem or you had to keep getting iPods. And my theory is, and we talked about this at the store at the time, that it was the computer. That it was the $600 PC with a FireWire adapter at that time,
Right.
hooked up, maybe sending too much juice to the iPod. I mean, if you keep having devices fail,
Yeah.
time after time, something's up.
I think that some people just shouldn't have nice things. That's what I think, because they don't know how to take care of them, and they just shouldn't have them. Save a lot of hassle for a lot of us.
Not the least bit elitist, thank you.
Well,
You're really changing the stereotype of Apple users.
I don't think it's elitist at all. I think that some people cannot take care of their belongings and should not be upset and complain when their stuff doesn't work anymore. When it's all beat up, or I don't know, you put some kind of crazy software on it, it doesn't work anymore. Sorry, you shouldn't have nice things because you don't know how to take care of them. That's my take.
Wow.
You heard it.
You heard it. Now, if Apple is indeed doing this super secret software update thing, you could find out more perhaps by attending the Worldwide Developers Conference, and that's coming up June 9th to the 13th.
Yeah, they'll be covering that there.
Apple did just announce the lineup of the classes and workshops. I did not see anything about how to set up.
Planned obsolescence?
Yes, I saw nothing about that. So I think that might be ill-founded.
It could be an indication.
There was a little bit of a kerfluffle late last week about Adobe and Photoshop. Was this on your radar, the Adobe Photoshop 64-bit controversy?
No.
Excellent. So basically what happened was Adobe came out and said that CS4, the next iteration of Photoshop on the PC, will indeed be 64-bit. On the Mac, it'll be 32-bit. And everyone, what a tragedy.
Right.
But to their credit, on their blog, Adobe has given a fairly concise answer to what's going on here. Basically, it all has to deal with the fact that you have Carbon and Cocoa. As you know, the different programming languages. Carbon is the older of the two.
Believe so.
Yes.
Believe so.
Why fact check when you have iChat? If anyone know, but anyhow, Photoshop is based upon the older of the two,
Okay.
which we will say is Carbon here.
Let's go with it. Stick with it.
Now, originally, Apple said that would be available as 64-bit code
Okay.
when Leopard was released. Turns out only 64-bit Cocoa is supported. Okay, so if they wanted to rewrite, they'd have to rewrite Photoshop from the ground up to take advantage of the 64 bits. And basically what Adobe's saying is, we're doing that when we can, because with Adobe Lightroom, the new beta of Lightroom, that is 64-bit on the Mac and PC. But what they're saying is be careful, because 64-bit does not mean twice as fast. The example given is that they said sometimes you can see big performance gains. 32-bit versus 64-bit basically comes down to how much RAM any particular application can use. 32-bit world, you're stuck at 4 gigs.
It's like lanes on a highway.
Lanes on a highway.
Lanes
Thank
on
you.
a highway.
So, but you have to have a full truck to take advantage of those extra lanes. Ah, nice.
Okay.
Okay, so what they're saying on the blog, thanks for playing along, is that if you're opening a 3.75 gigapixel image,
And I have all of my pictures cataloged in gigapixels.
on a 4-core machine with 32 gigs of RAM, it's about 10 times.
Wait. What do I need?
You need first you need your 3.75 gigapixel image. You're going to need a 4-core machine,
4 cores.
two duos.
Okay.
2 plus 2 is 4.
Right.
And then 32 gigs of RAM. And you will find that it's about 10 times faster.
10 times faster.
So,
Okay.
if you're dealing with something less than 3.75 gigapixel, don't worry about it. It's basically Adobe's message. They're saying real-world
Gigapixel.
performance increase is about 8 to 12%.
Okay.
And they do intend to have a 64-bit Photoshop, but it's going to have to wait for CS5 most likely. So, if we did that well, you can check it out. Head over to Adobe's blog, and of course all the show notes will be in the forum. So
Check them there.
take a look at that.
Right on.
Cool. What else we got?
Speaking of the blog.
Yes.
Speaking of the blog.
Yes.
Wanted to mention two spots in there that I'm going to be updating from time to time.
Yes.
One is from Within the Loop.
Inside the Loop.
From Inside the Loop. From Inside the Loop. The first
Glad we didn't
post-
trademark it yet.
That's right. The first post is already on the blog. You can find it there. Talking about my time at the headquarters
Sure.
at the mothership, and bringing you some inside information.
And I just want to say, this is the kind of information you're not going to find anywhere else.
Anywhere else.
For example, in the first posting,
Yep.
we learned a lot about the burritos.
We learned a lot about the burritos and Cafe Max in general. So if you want to know about that, check the blog. Check out the post there. I'm going to have more to come from Within the Loop, from Inside the Loop,
Okay.
whatever you want to call it.
But while you're working on the name for that, I understand you're rolling out a second feature.
That's right. Second
Okay.
feature.
Excellent.
Mind your business on a Mac.
Mind your business.
Mind your business on a Mac.
Okay.
So I'm going to be posting about how you can run your business on a Mac and taking a look at some issues that might arise and the best ways around them.
What about Mac and Biz
Mac and Biz? Nah, I like mine better. Mind your business
on a Mac?
on a Mac.
Okay, very good. Well,
Some
we
kind
look
of
forward to
punctuation
that.
in there.
One last news story to tell you about. Clear Channel Radio reporting 340 of their channels are now iTunes ready. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Thank you. This is the new service in which those of you using HD radios, not to be confused with satellite radio, you'll be able to tag songs you hear and then purchase them through iTunes. So
I heard about that.
Clear
That's pretty
Channel
cool.
is rolling this out very, very quickly. And again, 340 iTunes ready HD stations as we speak.
I think that's pretty cool.
One more time, the contest for the iTunes gift card, just head on over to the blog, and you're going to want to find Jamie's entry dealing with comic books on the iTunes store, and just leave a comment for us, and we will randomly pick someone from that this week to win the gift card.
Right on.
You got any parting thoughts?
No, other than check out the blog. Let us know what you think. Leave us some feedback at thedigital-lifestyle.tv. If there's something that we're not covering that you want us to cover, let us know. Let us know how we're doing.
Sounds great. And now, as promised, it's our interview with Rob and Josh from Welcome to Macintosh.com. Be sure to stop by their site to learn more about the film as well. We'll see you next week. We have an exciting announcement next week regarding a film here on our very own channel. So
Cool.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
And we'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.